The Black Death, the plague that changed the world forever. In the year 1347, a silent killer crept into Europe. It had no army, no weapons, yet it would wipe out nearly half the population. Entire cities fell silent, families vanished. The world was plunged into a darkness it had never seen before. This is the story of the Black Death and how it reshaped history forever. The Black Death, also known as the bubonic plague, was not born in Europe. Its origins trace back to the arid plains of Central Asia, likely around the Gobi Desert. It was carried westward along the Silk Road, trading routes that connected east to west. As merchants and caravans moved goods, they also unknowingly transported death. The bacterium responsible, Yersinia pestis, thrived in fleas that lived on rats. These rats boarded ships and traveled from port to port. By the time the disease reached the Crimean port city of Kaffa in 1347, it had already carved a path of devastation. But the real horror began when Genoese sailors fleeing Kaffa returned to Italy and brought the plague with them. It started with ports. Messina in Sicily was one of the first. When the infected ships docked, people quickly noticed something was wrong. Sailors lay dying, covered in strange black swellings, vomiting blood, and trembling with fever. From there, the disease leapt across Italy, then to France, Spain, England, Germany, and Scandinavia. Within just a few years, no corner of Europe was untouched. By 1351, the Black Death had reached even the remotest villages. Cities became graveyards. Bodies lined the streets. The air smelled of death and burning herbs. Doctors wore strange bird-like masks filled with aromatic substances, believing it might purify the poisoned air. But no mask, no prayer, no remedy could stop it. The plague struck with terrifying speed. Victims would first feel fever and chills. Then came the buboes, painful, swollen lymph nodes in the groin, armpit, or neck. These turned black, which is how the plague got its name. Soon after, the victim would vomit, experience internal bleeding, and sometimes hallucinate. Death followed within a matter of days. Some forms of the plague, like pneumonic or septicemic, kill in hours. Entire families died in their homes. Parents abandoned sick children. Priests refused to offer the last rites. Grave diggers couldn't keep up with the dead. In some towns, the death toll reached 80%. Humanity had never seen anything like it. In desperation, people searched for answers. Some believed the plague was divine punishment for sin. Flagellants marched from city to city, whipping themselves in public to beg for God's forgiveness. Others blamed minorities, particularly Jewish communities. Accusations of well poisoning led to massacres. In Strasbourg, 2,000 Jews were burned alive in a single day. Science was primitive. Medicine relied on superstition. Treatments included bloodletting, applying onions or crushed emeralds to buboes, or drinking mercury. Most were useless. Some were deadly. In the face of this invisible enemy, fear turned into madness, and yet somehow, some people survived. It's estimated that between 75 to 200 million people died worldwide due to the Black Death. In Europe alone, the population dropped by 30 to 60%. Entire villages vanished. Fields went unharvested. Cities fell into ruin. The workforce collapsed. It took over 150 years for Europe's population to recover. But with devastation came unexpected change. With so many dead, labor suddenly became scarce and incredibly valuable. Peasants, once bound by feudal obligations, found themselves in demand. They began to demand higher wages. Some moved freely between towns. The old system of feudalism began to crack. Landowners who once ruled over serfs now had to negotiate with them. The social hierarchy was upended. The middle class began to rise. Women, too, found new roles. With men gone, many took up trades, managed businesses, and gained a degree of autonomy unheard of before. The plague, for all its horror, was a catalyst for economic revolution. Religion, once a pillar of strength, faltered. Many questioned why God would allow such suffering. The church lost credibility as priests and bishops died in droves or fled. Corruption within the church became more visible. This crisis of faith planted seeds of doubt that would later blossom into the Protestant Reformation. Art, too, changed. The carefree religious imagery of earlier times gave way to darker themes. Painters depicted skeletons, death, and despair. The dance macabre, a dancing skeleton leading people to their graves, became a popular motif. Even literature reflected this grim tone. Boccaccio's Decameron tells of young nobles hiding from the plague by escaping into storytelling. The plague etched itself into the cultural memory of Europe. The Black Death wasn't confined to Europe. It affected the Islamic world, India, and parts of China. Trade slowed down. Cities were weakened. Dynasties fell. In China, the Yuan dynasty began to crumble, paving the way for the rise of the Ming. In the Islamic world, intellectual centers like Baghdad suffered immensely. But globally, the impact was more than just population loss. The plague reshaped geopolitics, economies, and worldviews, and it reminded humanity of something terrifying, that nature could strike with unimaginable force. Plague outbreaks continued for centuries, but never again on such a scale. Today, the disease is rare and treatable with antibiotics, but it hasn't disappeared entirely. Small outbreaks still occur in places like Madagascar and the western United States. In 2020, the world faced another invisible enemy, COVID-19. Though not as deadly, the fear, lockdowns, misinformation, and global panic bore a chilling resemblance to the Black Death. History, it seems, always finds a way to echo. The Black Death was more than a disease. It was a turning point. It broke old systems, sparked revolutions in science, labor, and society. It left scars that we still carry in our DNA, in our culture, in our memories. And while the plague is now a shadow of the past, the lesson remains. Humanity is fragile, but also resilient. If this story moved you, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world.